Okay, you're in the right spot now. Okay, freedom from war. Of course, now I got to go sideways because it's printed this way. But this document, United States Program for General and Complete Disarmament in a Peaceful World, is 1961. The John Birch Society actually reproduced a bunch of these back in the day with the blue cover and everything.
That's the copy I got. Very evil.
One of my kids actually found an original at the university that he was attending many years ago, an original 1961, and it's a spitting image. They didn't make any changes.
Wasn't that Fort Sam Houston, right?
Sam Houston, yeah. Sam Houston State University. So, yeah, it's real. And remember when he was going there to become a state police? Remember they had that whole UN function? Well, no, and they were teaching folks that the communist Chinese were good. No, what that was? You got an amazing memory, Alex. What it was that they had a display up in the foyer of their main criminal justice building that was displaying the communist Chinese flag and various Soviet and Chinese military police medallions in the showcase. It's like, what? And that's what that was all about. And I asked him to get some pictures of that, and he couldn't because they took it down. And I said, well, why'd they take it down? And he said, don't worry, Dad. It was Alumni Day. They took it all down. They didn't want the alumni seeing it, but they'll put it back up tomorrow. And sure enough, they did, and there you have all these, they have these Soviet emblems for police, the Cheka, which was a precursor to the I think it was the NKVD or
no, continue. Go through the rest. You got like 20 documents there. Keep going.
Summary: disarmament goal and objectives. This is 1961. The disbanding of all national armed forces and the prohibition of their reestablishment in any form whatsoever, other than those required to preserve internal order and for contributions to United Nations peace force.
And that's what NATO is now.
The elimination from national arsenals of all armaments, including weapons of mass destruction and the means for their delivery other than those required for the United Nations.
And there's the disarmament. The UN gets to have theirs.
They get the nukes. You understand? The UN gets the nukes. Now, if you think that this is our own government policy. This is 1961.
Keep going.
State Department stuff. I'm going to see if I can find some more stuff I might have highlighted here.
They've got our helmets getting smaller. The UN's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Shows the force build up.
Yeah, and they want the Russian army to go down. Now, you were talking about back to the armament thing, because that's what we're talking about today. The manufacturer of armaments would be prohibited, except for those of agreed types and quantities to be used by the UN Peace Force and all those required to maintain internal order. All other armaments would be destroyed.
Can you imagine a world with the UN with high-tech weapons? We're running around with sticks and stones.
You got a UN.
They've got Skynet.
A bunch of control freak, illegitimate crooks run by the bankers with all the guns and the nukes, and you got nothing.
Hey, the famous writer H.G. Wells wrote books in the 20s where they would have these big bat-wing fighters nuking everyone to reduce population. That's the final phase.
Well, the point is, again, I'm going historical.
These are crazy people. Hurry, we're almost out of time. Race through all these other documents while they're going to ban our guns. Well, you have all these new ones. We just read 2011.
Well, I've got a bunch of other stuff here, but a lot of it has to do with this legitimacy thing I'm talking about. Look, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. If you want to understand the UN, go and get the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and read it. Because you know what's not in it? The right to keep and bear arms.
Well, it says at the end the UN can ignore all the rights. In fact, which article is it where they say you got all these rights unless we say so?
Well, that's Article 29, Section 3. Permit me to read it. I want you to understand, there is no right of self...
Hold on, we're going to break. This is the big official UN law, Declaration of Human Rights. Our government signed on to it. And it says at the end, you have no rights. You're a total slave. There's all these great rights if the UN... by the way, in North Korea, it's written the same way. You have all these great rights unless the gracious leader says. And it's the same way under the EU. All this great stuff, but unless we say so. See, it's called fine print. That fine print is not in the Bill of Rights or Constitution. These are criminal bankers that have taken over our country. Get the article and InfoWars out.
This is Alex Jones with 5 Good Reasons.
All right, it's the final segment with Bob Dacy. Listen, America isn't perfect, but it's been the best country the world's ever seen for liberty and freedom and incredible cornucopia of ideas. And it came from individuals. It came from rugged individualism. It came from freedom. And that's why they spend all day telling you how bad America is. And you know what? If I just knew about American history, I'd think we were bad. Then I studied world history. I looked at every other country, and let me tell you, we have been the best. We were the model of the world. Now, I just got chills, ladies and gentlemen. We have serious tyrants in control. Again, they're not just boss hogs that want to run things. They want to re-educate, to kill. We've shown you their own statements. They want our guns. And thank God for the founders, because 236 years ago, that Second Amendment is there. It actually came about a decade later with the Bill of Rights. But the point is, it was about guns. It started when the Redcoats came to confiscate guns. And here we are 200 plus years later with that time bomb against tyranny. 3, 4, 5 million guns a month getting sold, all-time record. And people know. There have been national surveys. They say, I don't trust this government. And you know why? You shouldn't. Because the average FBI person's not a bad person. The average cop's not bad. But the people running the government are enemies of this country. There's a red-linked article that everybody's got to get. We'll do 5 minutes overdrive so Bob can finish. It's red-linked. Bankers declare U.S. and Europe conquered. Guys, I want to have that put back as the top link on Featured News. That article is total proof of their criminal takeover in their own words. And, of course, it's getting no attention, and stuff that I didn't think would has gone viral. There's no controlling what goes viral. Whatever I want to go viral doesn't go viral. Whatever. The point is, it must go out. Get it out to everyone. It is a confession by these criminals. Continuing, this is the official UN Global Declaration of Human Rights. It gives you all these wonderful rights, especially communism, rights to other people's money. You built your neighbor's business. You painted their oil painting. You made their song. You knit that dress. You had that baby, even though you didn't. All of this. But in the end, what do they tell you, Bob?
What they tell you in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Again, 1945, founding-era document of the UN. This goes way back to their very founding. What they tell you is you got all these glorious rights. By the way, they don't mean any of it, by the way. But they tell you you've got all these glorious rights. And then at the very last, Article 29, Section 3, these rights and freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations. So if you disagree with the United Nations, if you oppose anything they want to do, you have no right.
Their purposes. That means whatever the dictator in there, whatever the Security Council, Obama heading it, whatever they want, they're read it again.
They will do it to themselves, too, by the way. These rights and freedoms may in no case be exercised contrary to the purposes and principles of the United Nations.
The purposes. That's whatever they want.
And for example, this is off topic from guns, but for example, several years ago, there was a SARS conference in New York about the big disease. Remember SARS in Asia? And the United Nations Press Corps invited some doctor from Taiwan, which is like, oh, no, not Taiwan. Well, that's no good. Well, Kofi Annan kicked him out. He said, no, you can't come. And
because that would upset China.
And the press corps actually asked Kofi in a press conference, well, sir, what about Article 19 of the Universal Declaration, which says we can trade information freely?
And right to travel.
And travel and with regard to borders so we can all share information, sir. And Kofi looked at the reporter and said, you must understand our principles. And one of them is there is only one China. So what Kofi what Kofi did, this is to his own principles.
You're so good. Well, oh my God, it's true. That's word for word. He said that, and he implemented Article 29.
Exactly. Article 29, Section 3 overrode Article 19 because Article 19 says you only have freedom of the press if we like what you're doing.
Well, that's why they ban all these people from the UN events. Stay there. We'll do 5 more minutes, folks. You ignore this information at your own peril. They want your guns. They want you to be their slaves.
Thank you.
We may have to go space trucking to get off this planet and away from the UN, find some freedom. Up at Infowars.com, there's a photo of Obama you got to see. I'm going to say that. It's in the featured news area. You didn't build that. Just go look at it. There he is. You have got to go look at this photo at Infowars.com. It's also at Prisonplanet.com. Bob Dacy, writer for the New American Magazine, good friend of mine, evil entrepreneur owner. If you go back to your hardware store today and build a screen, which I know you do all the time, Bob, you didn't build that.
No, I didn't build that.
Kim Jong-il did. Yeah. I mean, if they say government's milk and honey, I guess Kim Jong-il is the ultimate expression.
Well, I I'm been totally shaken by Obama's statements that I didn't have anything to do with the creation of my small business. That just blew me away. I have trouble sleeping at night worrying about that because I could have swore I did something. I don't know what it was. I did something. 34 years ago. I've been doing this. I've been doing nothing for 30.
You got a pretty big hardware store, and I've been in there. There's like 2 or 3 people sometimes running it.
Well, there's, it's America. You want to talk about America? It's true value. I mean, come on. You can't get any more American than that. It's like...
How many employees you got?
Oh, not enough, 6 or 8, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not,
You're evil. God, you're bad.
I'm an evil capitalist pig. Yes, I am. I am also an imperialist exploiter of the masses. Thank you. Thank you. I'm proud of it. Just like... Okay,
finish up, because you didn't go research all these UN documents either.
No.
This doesn't exist. George Soros said so.
No, again, my point, the point of...
Are you proud the White House is now attacking me routinely?
I love it when they attack you, Alex. I mean, the bigger you get, the more they attack you, and then the bigger you get. Hey,
anyways, I'm sorry, finish up.
They ought to learn to leave you alone, but they won't, will they? No, the point of this thing is, in context of firearms, anything, they want you disarmed. They want you to be a slave because they cannot take you over if you can defend yourself. There is no legitimacy to the UN. The solution is to get out of the UN, defund them. They will collapse of their own weight, and that cacophony of cockroaches will crawl off wherever they came from. It's,
a cacophony
of cockroaches.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm using big...
No, a gaggle of scrofulous roaches engaging in a triumphant march over the edge of the abyss.
Yeah, they'll just go back where they came from. I mean, the point is, with the Universal Declaration, you got to read it. Because if you read it, you can read between the lines. Actually, Article 28, the one before 29, says that you're entitled to a new world order, by the way. So, where they can implement all...
Where they can line you up and blow your head off.
All these rights that you have, unless you...
Because the UN Biological Diversity Assessment from '96, the full text says they're going to establish a neo-feudal system and turn the resources off and kill us. I mean... Man, that is really fun.
If you read this document, you're going to think it's funny because you're going to think, well, look, it's so smiley face. What it is, Alex, this is it. The United Nations is an excrement sandwich with white frosting on the outside and some blue stuff and some little wheat stalks and stuff. It looks real good. It's all pretty. It's all light blue and all fluffy and everything. But don't take a bite. That's it right there. Don't take a bite because that's all it is.
Jan Napolitano likes it. She's a dung beetle.
Well, maybe she is, but... she's a control freak. I mean, control freaks really like that kind of stuff. They, maggots and all kinds of things get in there and grow and whatnot. But a regular human being, when you take off that nice wedding cake frosting with the little blue wheat stalks and stuff and the little global emblem and stuff, when you take that off of there, you ain't going to like what you see.
Well, I mean, the UN, because of its immunity it gave itself, because the bankers want to give their hedge funds immunity. I mean, they're giving everything immunity and just declaring it because they have guns. It's total piracy. It's law of the jungle, literally. They're creating a global government that they're exempt from. I mean, that's really it. It's so hellish, it's hard to believe. Bob Dacy, great job. Thank you so much for spending time with us. And people can visit you at the Hardware Store Incorporated at Spicewood Springs Road 183.
Thank you for having me on, Alex, and death to the New World Order.